Hi everyone, welcome to this FE CashCalc tip. We're going to be focusing on the pension forecaster calculator today, which is this one. But as you can see, there are quite a few calculators we've got available on FE CashCalc. So we're not going to be covering off every single one in this tip series, but there are videos available on our YouTube channel that does actually go through every single calculator. So feel free to watch that after this one. Now, all of the financial planning calculators are available once you've selected a client, and you get all their tabs appear at the very top here. You just go to the Tools tab, the final one, and it loads up the 20 or so calculators. And they all do different things. There are CGT calculators, IHT calculators, stamp duty calculators, insurance, critical illness calculators, etc. So by all means, as I said, explore each one in your own time. But the pension forecast calculator, one of the reasons we wanted to do a video specifically on this one is because it is probably the most popular calculator we have. And it's very similar to a goal-based planning calculator. So with most of our tools and calculators, they work from left to right. So you've got some assumptions you need to set and lock in initially, and then you can play around with some of the options on the right. So this one has 3 goals in mind. So we start off with the assumptions tab, and we say, okay, well, this client collectively has got a pension pot of about, or pension pots worth about 200,000. We're going to assume a growth rate aggregate of about 4% a year. Inflation, we're going to assume it runs at about 2.5. So the real rate is 1.5. We're going to assume the client wants to draw down 4% a year in retirement, and the desired retirement age is 68, which is 16 years from now. And again, you can change any of the logic, but the moment you click on Save and Calculate, that locks that in. And on the right-hand side now, I have a number of different goals that we can start looking at. So the first one is make a specific monthly pension contribution until retirement. So we can say, okay, well, what does life look like if the client invested £1,000 a month up until retirement, synced with RPI as well? And if I click on Save and Calculate, on the fly, it calculates that for me and says, okay, well, if the client puts in £1,000 a month, given everything we've just got on the left-hand side, the target pension pot will be 469, or pots. And then thereafter, the client will be able to draw down about 1566 every month for those 32 years up until the client hits 100. Okay, that's great. But what about if we've spoken to the client and actually we're not so much interested in setting the monthly saving, we're more interested about hitting a particular target size pension? So that's the other goal. So we can click on this one and say, well, actually, rather than achieving a total pot size of 469, we need those pots to be worth, let's say, 600,000. So we can put the target size in there, click on Save and Calculate, and it just reworks the calculations and says, well, actually, in that case, rather than putting £1,000 in a month, you'll need to put in 1604, and that will achieve that target pension size. Again, assuming the stuff on the left, and that will mean you'll be able to take £2,000 a month every month from your portfolio, Mr. and Mrs. Client, for those 32 years. And finally, what about if I wanted to change this one? What about if my client needs to achieve £2,500 in retirement, not £2,000 a month in drawdown? So I can click on the third goal and say, okay, well, let's look at that for 2,500 every month being withdrawn. What does my client need to do to achieve that? And again, it reworks the calculations and says, well, in that respect, you'll need to be putting in 2,388 every month until you retire. That will achieve that target pension size, and that will achieve your drawdown, your desired drawdown of 2,500 every month over that 32-year period. And once you're happy with that, click on Create Report, and you can provide that to the client branded with your logo.